how the hell can the North Texas Meanest Greenest pull off such a big comeback? Well, in part because they're great. It's a great offense. It's a high-octane offense. Could be the best in the nation when it's all said and done.
Absolutely.
But the real answer is because Tom Herman's still a jackass, Patrick.
No way.
Because UNT scores with about 3 minutes left.
This is Past the Rock.
Yeah, that's actually maybe I think our first video that ever got a comment from a person that's not me, or you.
No, I love that
guy. I forgot.
Do you remember the
commenter say?
I think he said, "Is this guy serious?" And I didn't know who or what he was actually asking.
I was.
He didn't seem to be a fan of our work.
I love it. First hater.
It was probably Tom Herman. So shout out Tom for watching the program. At the same time, I was also dipping dangerously into a Trump impression there. So I think that says all it needs to say about the seriousness of the statement.
Well, with that, we are back and we are talking college football week. What was it? 8?
Yeah, let's just call it that.
It was week 8. All right.
It was week something.
It was week 8. It is the week 8.
Go ahead and
it's the 8th week,
including
week 0. It's week 0. It's week 9, kind of. There's zero. Now we're in week 8. Yeah,
it's officially week 8.
It makes sense if you don't think about it.
And ESPN has it listed as week 9.
Well, that's what's coming up.
Week 9 is what's upcoming. Yeah.
Right now,
we're talking about the one that
right now. See, this is a recap, so this is what's already happened.
Right.
So this is good for the audience. Sometimes I think they can get confused. So we're gonna start with.
Yeah, the video won't definitely say week 8 recap right here or anything.
Yeah, don't sabotage me at all.
The game we're going to start with isn't going to be fun for you, Patrick. But it's not going to be too much fun for anybody who watched it because it was a game that only a true SEC fan could have loved. But I guess it's a good way to welcome Texas into the conference the right way.
Yeah.
The Dogs,
playing Mississippi State wasn't the right way.
No, it wasn't good enough. Technically, Oklahoma counted, but not counted. This was the first big test, and Texas failed pretty badly, at least in the first quarter. In the second half, or in this first half, in the second half, I think you saw a more comfortable Texas team, a more competent defense for sure. A defense with less pressure being put on it, but ultimately, the result was 30-15. There was basically just one Georgia drive in the second half that kind of just put the whole thing to bed. If I had to, let's start with your interceptions, I guess. Let's start. So let's talk about the positives of the Texas day.
And yeah, you brought up the defense, and honestly, the fact that that game was only 20-0 at half is all because Texas defense is pretty darn good, or Georgia's offense is not. Example A.
Yeah, I would say that it's column A, column B.
Yeah,
I don't think the quarterback's elite.
I think
there was no good offensive play in this game.
I think you're looking at a quarterback.
You're
looking at a quarterback who's going to be a great backup journeyman quarterback. I feel very confident about that.
Yeah,
I don't
but
love
he's also
this guy.
going to be round one. Oh wait, never mind. Their quarterback. I don't know anything about Carson Beck.
Yeah, Carson Beck is being projected by a lot of people right now to go in the first round.
I could definitely argue.
I think Exhibit B. We can keep talking over it.
Yeah, Beck has had a better career so far and has better upside so far, at least on tape. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's too much difference here.
Does he have a title?
He does. I think so.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
He's been there. He's been their quarterback for a bit now.
Listen, I don't see it with the guy. Even on his good games, I'm just like, I know.
He just mixed up. He's got a little bit too much Jay Cutler in him, to talk about our previous episode.
More than anything, he bores me. He's just boring to watch, and I hold that against every quarterback.
No, and that's fair. I mean, their ground game is elite, but their offense is kind of stunted by the quarterback. It feels a little bit, at least to me, but not as much as the Texas.
Team. I brought those 2 interceptions to show you how So Texas had both those opportunities in the first half, didn't manage to put up any points. This play right here that you guys will see example of. I heard Joel Klatt on the radio today saying this is actually on Quinn. He's a quarterback, so I gotta trust him more. Because my immediate thought was this is on the tackle, but
All right, let's see what this one.
No,
this
yeah,
reminder.
Quinn doesn't see a blitzing
Okay.
corner. It's an unfortunate thing, but yeah, it's.
oh
that's
yeah,
the
sorry,
quarterback's
that
job.
wasn't the play I thought. But yeah,
Okay, I was gonna
he did
say,
say
this
that
doesn't
he
look
did
like
say
it's
that it
okay.
was his fault because he should have picked up the corner blitz.
I mean, it was
fair.
a good blitz, but yes, 20. So basically,
But I think
I'm not super football guy, but I'm thinking the running back is supposed to be told to pick that up because there ends up being a guard and a running back blocking one guy.
if you
instead of
want to win a
out.
national title, you need to have a quarterback who knows that's what's happening.
Well,
And you
there's
gotta step
also-
up in
Wait,
that-
can you
in
play that one more
pocket.
time? Because I want to see something real quick on this one. Yeah. Okay. Yes, on one end, he should be surveying the field a little bit better just to see what it's a press.
Well, it's a
press
play
coverage on that
You
recognition
one.
gotta
issue.
tell
But
you gotta tell the running back to pick that up in that situation. The running back's
Yeah.
not supposed to see that.
Well, he's
But
picking
also,
up.
I would
Yeah.
say that's a pretty
He's picking up the
well.
guy in the middle.
Yeah, and then you got three guys.
It's just a
working on
play
his stunt.
recognition issue, and that falls on the quarterback because he's the one on the field at the time. He's got to figure this out.
I have a hard time whenever it's a blind, like when it comes from the quarterback's blind side. I have a harder time saying that it's 100% their fault. It can be. It absolutely can be because you
It's-
want your veteran
it's- I mean,
gotta have the
QB
clock.
to either have a sped up clock, especially with how Georgia sends pressure, but on the other
that's
end,
the thing. This
who knows
whole
what the
first
blocking
half
scheme
was exactly that. Him learning
Well,
what that clock
Here
actually
is the other evidence that I've brought to the table. This one feels a little bit more on the offensive line than anything, but it really was more of a basically almost every offensive pass came with this sense of oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. But there's no way an offense can play a relaxed enough game to run the ball, to establish balanced offense and win. And this was a great case.
Oh,
I mean,
dude,
Georgia
that's
does a
beautiful by
lot
Georgia.
here. Georgia does a lot here.
That's a nice
But-
little move. Yeah.
Ultimately, this is just a fucked group. That is just, and that was the theme of the night. That might have been Georgia's best X's and O's standpoint. Texas may have been playing their best game and couldn't have done anything about that. But that little clip just felt like that was the theme of it. And even Texas's defense sort of struggled to do that version of defense the whole night. It was good.
maybe, but they were
It
just
couldn't be.
they were on the field too much. They couldn't, the
Well, I
offense
just
was
mean
not,
it.
The
I mean it
offense
more of
not
a
balancing
shot.
It makes it toward the defense. You can't judge what they did after the first half. I don't think.
No,
'cause-
I know. The offense fucks up, defense gets more pressure. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this is still evidence that Texas is transitioning into the program you have to be to compete in the SEC. And I think they're a little too young defensively. And I think clearly this offense is a little too baby me offense. And now Quinn is struggling. Arch kind of gets in there, but Arch only really does better because he can run. So you're really not. I really
wouldn't
don't
say
see much
I
better
wouldn't say Arch does better. He's just more fun
in this
to
game.
watch.
In this game, I thought
He
Arch
did
had
really,
a
he threw
little
a pick
bit better.
too.
Right, but he was able to extend the pocket whenever it was
No,
constantly
and
being
the
collapsed,
only reason Arch wasn't in there for Arch to be in there. Arch was in there for Quinn just to take a breath, and it worked. That was the right call. He did. Herman
yeah,
handled
it did well.
Sorry, Sark. Sorry, you were talking about Herman earlier. Sark handled that perfectly. I thought Sark did the right thing by saying, "Just sit here. We'll come back out." And it looked like it worked. Quinn definitely settled down a bit. And I don't feel like Georgia let up at the half. They might have let up near the end, the very end, but they weren't letting up in the third. That's for sure.
Now, in the moment when the benching happened, I was genuinely surprised. Is that we know this now, right? It was to give Quinn Ewers just a moment to regain some composure. But in the moment, I was like, there is no way you're benching him right now. The fuck are you? You're throwing Arch to the real wolves right now. And at first, I had two combative thoughts, right? One was, you know what? Maybe Arch does give you a better chance to win because he is the more mobile quarterback. And clearly, the offensive line is just not picking up these blitzes. They just seem really confused by what the stunts and what the X's and O's of Georgia is doing. On the other end, right? I was like, this is a bad sign going forward. If if this leads to anything, which it didn't, because Quinn Ewers came back in the second half and played a much cleaner game in the second half. But in that moment, I was, dumbfounded for sure.
Yeah, no,
and I would just say I agree with that, and then go ahead, Biffy.
Yeah, and then the last thing has to be mentioned about this game, the SEC refs probably made this thing more about them than anybody else, and probably set a precedent that they're going to have to fix at some point.
Immediately.
As you guys were well aware, there was a terrible call against Texas.
Oh, yeah.
It was called and announced a call. That's important.
That's the biggest. That's the biggest piece. Yeah.
In my life, and I don't know the X's and O's, the rules, the officials. If you know, you can chime in after this. I don't know specifics, but in my brain, and this is what I'm even communicating to my girlfriend who doesn't know shit about this as we're watching it. I'm like, I've never seen this be called back ever. I've never seen what they're doing right now, announcing it and then being like, "Psych, didn't happen."
That's the thing, is the announcement, because you've seen flags picked up, but they never say what.
They'll
come up. They might come on mic and say there is no holding or call for. I know obviously the NFL and the other pro football leagues have some sort of sky judge who can call in and be like, no, but I don't know if college football has that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. At least
it was bad. I didn't like anything about this whole sequence.
It was bad, and everyone's gonna say it's bad. I honestly, the only take I have now at this point, because I shouldn't have to remind people to stop throwing trash at other people or in things, is I just want to know what coach finally says fuck it and doesn't try to interfere. Because usually, like, Sark immediately goes out there. Most coaches do. Most coaches do this.
There's a way that he did that where he wasn't just out there like, you could see he wasn't just out there dog cussing everyone. It was.
He just looked like
It was a weird. I don't know enough about Sark, but from what I remember about him from USC, I feel like he's grown up a whole lot in the last few years.
Oh, definitely.
He seems like a way, way, way different guy, and I'm really glad we had him to chill that out. I wish the Dallas Stars had something like that when they were throwing crap on the ice against Vegas a couple years ago.
Right. Yeah. So it's not a good look, obviously. It's just a funny story, all in all, and the SEC. Did the right thing and the wrong thing at the same time. And the best part is it didn't even matter in the game. It didn't even matter.
It did not matter. But I would say it's not the right thing once the call has been made.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Yeah.
Because,
I guess so.
Because now you put yourself in a position where, Caesar, what did you send to us on Twitter earlier? Vanderbilt's put up netting.
Yeah, netting. They're calling their shot against Texas, baby.
They have to. If you don't do something the immediate next week, everyone's gonna try to do this crap. And I hate that it was my team that did it. But they did.
It's netting, but you're talking about not netting from the fans. You're talking about netting from them going out the exit. Is what Caesar's talking about. Caesar, they netted off
from throwing there.
They've netted off the ability to take the goalpost off and run.
I completely misread what I.
Yeah.
Well, because look at they showed a picture of where the netting is, and it's just like a certain part, right? Because like if you're worried about trash,
it's just the end zone,
the entire stadium. Let me relook at that. Let me look at that.
Yeah, I think it's just the end zone.
While you guys continue to discuss.
Well, that was it.
Okay, they put it up. No. They put up netting in front of the visiting section.
Oh.
So they're
being assholes. That's funny.
Well, that's good. I like that. That's
a good bit.
I think they probably should put it up for everybody just for a couple weeks, but
that's a good bit, Vanderbilt. Shout out to them.
We got to take it on the chin and get whatever coming to us out of this. So
definitely. Well, now the mantle of number one has been passed on again. It's not Georgia. It's actually the Oregon Ducks.
And we should say, but just to wrap that game up, I guess, the best news out of this is that now we're in a 12-team playoff, and Texas can actually learn from that, and the season isn't just over like it used to be.
Yeah, once again, Quinn Ewers, processing information is important. Even if you think everything is fake news and science is a bunch of liberal bullshit, you still have to process information. And so you should read books. You should open your mind to other things, because typically This is the issue of quarterbacks, and I don't want to hear anybody say that's mean. It's true. I'm tired of pretending like quarterbacks aren't intentionally dumbed down. If you want to be great at the position, think about the sport. It's really that simple. Be bigger than the offense that Sark is giving you, even if that's all he's giving you.
Well, and I was gonna say, just to bring up, because I brought it up earlier, Joel Klatt talking about it, and I believe he was gonna have to paraphrase hard here, basically saying that, like, Sark knows the offense and he knows when the ball is supposed to be leaving Quinn's hands, and the ball is not out of his hands yet a lot of the times.
It's because it's a quick.
So that's,
but it's formulaic, so it's supposed to be simple.
So that seems to be the disconnect. So it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think the offense needs to adjust. The quarterback needs to adjust, or we're going to middle out, lose in the second or third round of the playoffs, and hopefully Arch can do a little bit better next year.
Yeah, and maybe scouts will give some credit to Quinn, because
but I think
maybe you could argue a scheme thing.
Let me give you a different spin on that, because you said the scouts and all that stuff. So with like a pro spin on this, if from both quarterbacks, like just I know we're a long way from draft season and talking about
Quinn's gonna be a top 10 pick for some dumb franchise.
Listen, this game would, in my opinion, right? Obviously, I'm not a scout or anything like that, but in my opinion, this tanked both of their stock significantly, because you just saw absolute dog shit quarterback play on a big stage from two guys who have played enough college ball where you should expect better, and you saw just nothing great from either end. You barely saw anything that you're like, hey, I feel confident in this kid playing next week, let alone
also a lot of NFL players.
Wait till you
on
look at
defense,
the rest
sure.
of this draft class, because there's nothing there. So these
But,
guys would have to be pretty bad to really fall that far.
Yeah,
I mean, but in my opinion, like either way, these guys weren't first rounders to begin with. This should definitely solidify. This should definitely solidify them not going in the first round. Well, they probably will, because
Quinn's going to be a top 5 pick.
Dog shit.
All right, we'll talk about the picks later, y'all. You're pulling him off sides. The Ducks are now the number 1 team, but they're going to have to hope. Baby. Now, they had a good game against Purdue. We're not really going to get into that. Unfortunately, this feel like a bit of a bad omen when it comes to taking over the top spot.
The poor Duck. No.
If you're only listening to this, the mascot ran out with the team. One of the players knocked him over and knocked his head off. And this is on Purdue's turf, too. This isn't even at home. So I don't know if that's better or worse, but that's unfortunate.
I'm not sure, but
so Oregon's, long story short, I needed to show that video. Oregon's number 1 now. That's how I shoehorned it in.
For a week.
Moving into the next Texas team we need to talk about that took a nasty little L. The UNT Mighty Mean Green fell. The mighty offensive only machine, as I might start calling them. Hey, random commenter. This is still an elite offense. I wasn't wrong there. Problem is the defense. You get lightning strikes. You get lightning strikes on one side. You get shit wipes on the other. I don't know what to tell you. Okay.
Yeah, man. But listen. We found the gem and champ for us. All right. I don't know if you have a clip of his touchdown run. That shit was many feet.
No, I will make a Mean Green 7 probably tomorrow and post it. I was still bitter and upset about taking an unnecessary L because tackling doesn't exist.
That's rough.
We'll get into more Big 12 like play in a little bit. You have some complaints with the Mean Green?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's kind of the problem of the. I feel like the portal. You're gonna get some great offensive talents in. It's gonna be hard to find those defensive talents.
Yeah, I mean, and they did. The Sheffield kid was a transfer in, and he's been fucking lights out on offense. But yeah, 44 points, just not enough these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, another team, another once great program looking to get back to the glory days. The Nebraska Cornhuskers went to Indiana to play a very, very talented and upstart Indiana Hoosiers team. And holy shit, did they played Cornhusker football. Not Nebraska. Indiana played the shit out of Cornhusker football. It was ugly. It was ground and pound, and it ended in 56-7 drubbing of the Cornhuskers.
Yeah. Wait, was it Indiana or Illinois who had the helmets? The old
that is Illinois. We will get to Illinois just a touch, but yes, that the special helmets are coming up. Although I didn't get a picture. If you want to snap a picture,
Yeah, give me a second. I'll find something.
And you know what? Dylan Raiola, that kid had his first bad game, and that was Gunslinger Central right there.
And that's honestly, it's what it's been, and I think it's still a good sign for the program long term. But it is a humbling experience to be absolutely railroaded by a team that's essentially ahead of your schedule in the same conference, trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. Indiana, just got to give a lot of respect to what they built. Another team ranked handling business, Notre Dame. The Golden Domers went down to Georgia Tech, handled business there, 31-13. Really not too much to cover from this game other than, hey, Notre Dame handled business. This was an interesting game because Georgia Tech is good. So the fact that they were able to really beat down a good team is a good sign for the Domers. Now we move into the helmet game where Michigan and Illinois played. Interesting little throwback jerseys. I love this. I think this looks way better than
I can't imagine how much time it took to make that helmet look that good.
Yeah, not everybody has to do that, but I thought that was an interesting and unique spin on the.
Should ever try that again because it's not
yeah,
gonna look that good.
That's fair, and maybe that can be their alternative, and we really just.
I didn't like the uniform as much, but I thought the helmet looked cool.
You got to do the whole bit though, and they committed to the bit, and they did a good job. Like they made it look like what.
Somehow I don't think that's what those numbers looked like. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Well, the numbers wouldn't have been as defined, yeah, but like you would have. That's basically the way the pants were all basically the same, like nasty ass.
Like I want baseball teams to wear throwbacks where they got to wear like the full wool long sleeve.
We're gonna do that, but we're gonna go back to the old ballpark. Michigan, Illinois, it was 24-22, but this is likely the last time we see Michigan ranked. It's a 21-7 win for the Illini. Not necessarily the most convincing, hey, everybody fuck the Illini are here for the Big Ten, but they're clearly players. It's clearly a good program on the right direction.
Better than Michigan.
Yeah, and that's really what my takeaway is. Michigan is not very likely to get to 500. They're 4-3 right now.
My strength of schedule.
they're 4-3 right now. They play Michigan State this week. Absolutely have to win that, and that's not that likely. Oregon after that, really not good. Indiana, who just drugged the fucking shit out of Nebraska. Northwestern, again, I'm not exactly sure where Northwestern falls on this, but you got to win it no matter how they're playing this season. And then you finish the Ohio State naturally, and like that's if you win that one, it doesn't matter. You're sure on more. You get to keep your job if you win that one, but that's really it.
You're all task.
Yeah, so Michigan
lose it like 6 times. Come on.
Yeah, well, but he was winning all the other games, so it helped out. So that was tough.
It's a testament to Michigan's roster outside of the quarterback position that they even have 4 wins. Because Jesus, I look at this, their QB play is the worst in the country for a power program like this. Like, how can you, as Michigan, just not find somebody who can sling the ball or at least be able to run the ball?
And now they're committing to the we're not committing to a quarterback until the game starts bit. So that's the portion of the program.
Always a good sign.
Always a good sign.
Great sign.
Final big game that we previewed last week, Bama, Tennessee. This was a very, very bad first half. It was very, very boring. Especially for a Tennessee team that
I happened to turn it on at the very end of the game, so I got all the good stuff.
That's good. You got to see a game that ended 24-17 and maybe looks like a real football game, but that was mostly in the second half. It was pretty much nothing going into halftime in this game, I think. Was it 3-0, 0-0? I think it'll show
7-0 going into the
7-0 half. Okay. 3 straight 0-point halves for Tennessee. This is after we heard, after the first few weeks of the season, that this was about to be the team that could score 60 on everybody all season.
They can't.
So that's just funny.
That's the problem.
Well,
they are chaos, and they're 6-1.
This was the 3rd straight 0-point first half for Tennessee since 1963. That was I just think it's funny how we hype it up, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're going to do some historical shit."
Monkey paw curls.
But some people don't care about stats, like Booger McFarland.
Stats are like bikinis. They show some things, but not all things.
Fucking Booger,
Some
man.
things, not all things.
It's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
So this is a tough loss. This is Alabama's second loss of the season. Kalen DeBoer once had a number 1 team. Now he has 2 losses. Do the offensive woes for this team, given that was sort of his thing, look worse on Kalen DeBoer, or is it something like maybe faking an injury that could get you maybe not in the good graces of the Crimson Tide Nation, the 31st or the 33rd football team, as they call them?
I love how fast they start yelling at the refs about this guy being hurt after they throw him on the ground.
That's
I mean,
incredible.
it's a good
That's a
bit if
beautiful
you think about the fact that if this was a game 30 years ago where there's not cameras everywhere.
Right?
Yeah.
But like the
40 years
refs aren't
ago.
seeing that, probably, right?
Not that one. Not the one that needed to. So that was unfortunate for them.
Now they probably saw that after the game, like whenever they had to do any like official reviews. Or
Yeah. I mean that just is embarrassing. But it's not for me to speak on this issue. It's for the great Bama legend, Bama fan legend.
You have come down here in the South. I don't know who told you, Coach DeBoer, that you can't confront players. Let me tell you something. If you confront them and they want to leave, tell their ass to hit the door. Alabama faking injuries, making jump shots behind offensive plays. What the hell kind of coaching staff have we brought down here to the greatest program in the whole damn world?
Oh, I love that. I love how the
whole damn
range
world.
is
The whole damn-
world.
Well,
Can't tell who's gonna cry or gonna yell even more.
the SEC rides on.
Both.
Tennessee gets to be the champions, even if this guy maybe needs to find
So
a better. Really, it's
embarrassing.
the match. Really, it's the match. There isn't
The match,
helping.
the girl bumping him, he's nervous
The
because
girl
he knows
bumping
the
him,
cameras
The camera's
this far
there.
away from him.
I also the sleeve, the volunteer.
Yeah, I don't
themed
know what
sleeve
that's
also
about.
is probably interfering in his ability to see that whole end.
If
that-
anything, he should be putting it further over so you can get the. Anyways.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
I did because I cut the audio out. They made a joke about how young that guy looked and whether or not there's age restrictions on cigars in Tennessee.
Look. College freshmen are much younger than we all think they are because TV likes to
they
hire
legally
30-year-olds
can't
to do these.
smoke
What? You can
until
smoke
they're
a cigar if you're
21.
What?
At the age, bro.
what?
Yeah.
When is tobacco 21?
It went
last
up.
decade. It was long after it mattered to me, but
Damn, that's crazy. I don't even know that. That's how long it's been. Damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Okay. Well,
now
the more you know.
now you can go do like 6 tours for your country before you can buy a pack of cigarettes.
Well, that's unfortunate. But you know what's not
Anyways.
unfortunate? The fact that you have scoured the internet for the most obscure clips. Do you want to do your little Pat's Picks mini show right now? Because I see about 10 beautiful random things. So once you get to Big 12 defenses where you can stop, I think all of that is you. We'll try to talk through these.
Pull this around. So
What we're gonna do here is Patrick is, and when I tell you the most obscure, I'm telling you if you've recognized there's one school you've recognized here for sure, unless you're a junkie who's played a lot of college football games.
This is pretty much what I did on Saturday and Sunday.
That's
Let's just
beautiful.
find some
This
of these.
is quite the
So,
collection.
Honestly,
the
I
state of
should've
Idaho
brought
is
some
so
better
excited.
notes. Yeah, so here we got a fake punt from Idaho State.
And I love this one because you get a lot of theatrics from the punter on this one.
He carries it pretty far too. Then Idaho
They weren't
State,
done.
They weren't done with their trick plays. Here we've got everyone look at the sideline. Oh, quick snap!
distractions.
Ooh,
Hell yeah, longest yard.
And pretty good throw.
nice.
Yeah, I mean it was
Maybe
where
he's
it
one of
needed
the
to be.
backup quarterbacks.
Maybe he
And
could be
then-
quarterback number 1 in the draft.
Somewhere else in that state, there's another team called Idaho, and they also have a trick play.
Hey, don't
here.
disrespect the Vandals like that. They play in the greatest
Look at
dome
this.
in college
Oh.
football.
Oh,
Oh,
About 5 different guys touched that ball.
This is exactly how NFL offenses run plays against the Cowboys.
And then I think we saw Georgia run that exact play against Texas like 2 hours later. I didn't clip that one though.
We tried to see Pittsburgh run that same play last week, and it ended miserable.
Here we've got a nice little run of just long touchdowns. I thought about grabbing every 50-yard plus.
There were a lot of long touchdowns.
This is Western Michigan.
Wasn't sure if this was just.
I thought this one deserved it because of the. I thought this one deserved it because of the broken tackles and the hurdle. So
it's college football tackle, but it looks cool. I feel you. It's just a business decision.
It's
you're only paying me a
scholarship. It's contact versus he literally just ran straight.
That was I'm only getting a scholarship out of this kind of tackle, not trying to get drafted tackle, and I respect that business decision.
Then we'll go to this. We'll go up 4 yards to a 58-yarder from Miami of Ohio.
Okay.
Taking on Ohio. Bounce, a break tackle.
This one looks like a little guy. I like that. Little guy running back so good.
I really like that receiver number 0 there, cutting all the way across the field to try to help out
his teammate.
To try to help out with a block that he doesn't have to, and then it almost hurts his teammate. Yeah. And then we'll get into the
that's a
Buffalo
love game moment right there.
Al J. Henderson 68-yard touchdown.
Woo, another little guy. Hell yeah.
Oh man,
he might be bigger. He might be bigger.
Nobody's gonna
I like this one a lot because these guys do almost actually catch him at the end. He still has to finish that one really strong, and I like that highlight for that purpose. But then what you're gonna get here is an 86-yard pick six.
Oh, this one's really unfortunate. Yeah, this one I almost clipped, and then I didn't, and then you added it anyway, and I was very happy because I should have. Because this one has a sad ending. And this is how you should play. You know, never give up, never surrender. But the quarterback didn't make a business decision.
Boom! Oh, wait for it.
Boom!
Oh, wait, you want to see that again?
He did not make a business decision, and hey, for that we applauded him.
Oof, that one was funny. I forgot that's how that ended. What else do I got in here? Here's something from Western Oregon.
Western Oregon, guys. This man got.
They were playing UT. They were playing in the UT system.
Permian Basin.
Whoop-de-whoop.
Is this Odessa Permian? Is this where Bobby Miles went to go play college?
Yeah, this is Friday Night Lights over here. We're gonna watch that one again because I love that. That felt very much like the Minneapolis Miracle here.
Bro, that defensive end on the other side is as skinny as any defensive back I've ever seen.
No disrespect to these people, but this definitely looks like Texas high school football.
The stadium's worse.
Yeah.
And then I got special teams play. Here's a kickoff.
I love me a good special teams play, baby.
Okay.
This is
those bleachers look hot.
NCAT is. So this guy muffs the kick.
No.
And then just leaves it there. And his teammate tries to recover it, but doesn't. Look at this.
My God.
He's outside of the end zone.
Okay, but are you also not commenting on how he tried to catch that?
Well, I need to see it again because I'm just too baffled by the second time when he goes.
Please
when he goes to try to pick it up.
Please look at how he tried to catch that. Please look at how he receives this. And that's all. It'll tell you all you need to know. Look at where the hands are.
Oh God, dude!
Yeah, that kid has never seen.
He caught that like a baseball player.
He tried to tell the ref that it's a touchback because he didn't want to catch it. I guess I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Okay. The only thing that I could think of.
Look at this.
He's like,
he touched the ball 4 times, and then he walks away like, nope, doesn't count.
He caught that like a touchdown pass.
And then the hands up. He's just like, what?
And that poor teammate, he tried.
Did they give scholarships to that program, or maybe not?
I'm sure they got a couple.
I think that kid probably
Maybe
thought, okay, I had possession of the ball for a second, and I sort of maybe took a knee, so that means, touchback. But Jesus, kid, what was going through your head?
Yeah.
Oh,
Deshaun Jackson's cousin, actually. Weird.
And then we'll get some more. Special teams here. I think this might be my last one.
Deshaun Jackson never had made a play that dumb.
Oh
yeah. This is I mean, shout out to him. Another clip from Idaho. Not a great one for the Vandals here, though.
Oh, damn.
No, and we're gonna
That
watch that
kid got
again,
leveled.
Caesar. Don't worry about it. You'll get to see the whole thing. So what happens here for anyone who's not watching
A
is
whole bunch of CTE for
the punt, the snap to
hopefully
the
a college
punter goes
education.
through his hands. He still recovers, manages to get a pretty darn good punt off with the guy
really not
crashing
bad.
down on him. And then the guy from what is it, Idaho decides to try to play it off a bounce, gets ran through, drops
Ayo.
it, and Cal Poly ends up recovering, and it's basically like a 70-yard pass.
So you're saying a Poly team ran through him?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, that's unfortunate. That's
Where'd you find that?
this week in the most obscure highlights you could find in college football. And some of those were quite doozies.
You mean the segment that we're gonna start calling?
Damn, son, where'd you find that?
And honestly, I think it's very warranted. I think it's incredibly warranted.
Look at that.
We'll
Last
get into
minute decision. Just played out beautifully.
And I think it's a beautiful way to get into the other notables because while, yes, other things happen that we don't get on our watch list and we need to mention them, nothing is more important than seeing muffed punts and broken business decision tackles, and most importantly, quarterbacks putting it all on the line for their programs. Shout out to you, Ohio, I think it was.
Miami of Ohio?
No, I think it was the other Ohio.
Okay,
Either way, the Big 12 race is interesting. It's much like many Big 12 races before it. It's not very clear who the hell's supposed to be the good team here, despite preseason predictions.
I'm not sure
But
it's clear
ultimately
who's even in the conference.
Also an issue for the conference this season. But it now feels like Brigham Young has established themselves. Now, the Pokes almost got a big win on Friday, trying to get themselves back into life. But unfortunately, well, stop me if you've seen this before from the Big 12 defense. This is how the game ended. Now, yes, BYU's probably still going to drive in, but yeah, you might hope that somebody made that a little bit more difficult.
Did they have a timeout? I didn't see. BYU. They had
BYU had one timeout. So basically,
they'd have at least had two more plays.
Right, that's a tackle. Then there's they've still got a decent shot, but you really want to make them earn it. And I would definitely say that this right here is how I would actually summarize Gundy's entire career as
a flop of a tackle. Right,
I was just gonna say it looks like every Texas defense after 2005, and maybe even including
that was Big 12. That was Big 12 football. I just think Oklahoma State has been burned by it more than any other program in that conference's history, consistently at least. But it was a bad situation for them. Good situation for BYU, who lives to fight another day.
Oh.
In interesting news stories,
we forgot one of my videos.
Oh,
you ready for it?
Give it. Yo, that was great. I love that.
We didn't actually forget. That was intentionally put there so that I could get to it later. But we can do that now. The USC Trojans are now under 500. They lost 29-28 to the Terps. It was not great. As you can see, the Terps got to celebrate a pretty fun win. Basically, USC had a 4th and 2 with a timeout left in field goal range. Linebacker snacks the running back as he's trying to catch the ball on a check down. Incomplete pass. Trojans lose. As you can see, the time got run out on the next play. But they did get the highlight.
From Miller Moss, and Maryland has their best cover guy, Perry Fisher, in pretty good position here. And he gets his back to the quarterback. And
I haven't officially measured it, so I haven't officially confirmed it, but I'm told his glove size is 5X.
All right, well, now we know who Jerry Jones is drafting.
That was beautiful. That might be definitely contended for catch of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I left the audio on that one, because I wanted them to explain.
And from Miller Moss, and Maryland has their best cover guy, Perry Fisher, in pretty good position here, and he gets his back to the quarterback. And
I haven't officially measured it, so I haven't officially confirmed it, but I'm told his glove size is 5X.
Damn, that might have been an NFL catch too. I couldn't quite see that.
Yeah, I think it was a double. Yeah, I think it was a second foot in. Yeah, crazy one. Trojans. Under 500 heading into their Rutgers matchup. That's crazy. Who would have thought?
Big 10. Yeah.
Big 10.
What
Auburn.
was that tweet that was like, oh yeah, USC really blew up an entire conference to lose on the road to Maryland and Maine.
I mean, they did. Still probably the right move ultimately, but yes, it's definitely not going to be not a good transition.
Poach the top of the Big 12. They had to figure something else out.
Auburn, Missouri, 21-17 Missouri. Auburn had the game most of this one because the Tigers lost their quarterback to an ankle injury. He went to the hospital, got an MRI, but guys, don't worry, he came back to get the game-winning drive for the Tigers. They're still frauds.
They're chaos.
Shout out to them.
Just like Tennessee, they're chaos engines.
They are chaos, actually. That is basically their job this year. Miami-Louisville was a shootout. The tuck rule basically saved the U. I did not clip this off. I kind of meant to and forgot to. If you didn't see, there was a play where the quarterback Cam Ward tuck rule play ended up causing the game not to get tied up at 45-45 at that point. Instead, they went up 52-38, and then eventually Louisville made the final a 7-point game. It kind of follows the trend for Miami of a dumb luck season, I would call it. And it's a concerning defensive effort again. And even if they come out winners of the ACC, you definitely don't feel that great about how the top end for the U looks right now.
Is Cam Ward coming out this year?
Oh, yeah.
This is last year of eligibility.
He probably will be the quarterback.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, all jokes aside, he's the most qualified.
Isn't he your guys' coach guy?
Yeah. He found him early in the career. Former coach at UNT, Seth Luttrell, is now no longer the offensive coordinator at the Oklahoma Sooners because they lost 35-9 to South Carolina.
Because they no good.
Yeah. No. Turnovers buried them in the first, and that was pretty much how that went. They guess they kind of played all right later in that game, but it was still offensively so inept that they had to get rid of the guy.
You know, who knew that Mason Fine was the one that was carrying
yeah, I mean, Mason Fine is aged like a fine wine, and Jalen Guyton, of course, NFL player.
Of course.
No, I was talking with one of my Sooner friends, and I think basically the 90s. They're basically as bad as they were in the 90s, but they might not last as long as they did then. But this is the last time they weren't good.
Yeah, it's concerning if you're a Sooner fan and you don't really know who you're turning to. Do you just, it looks like you'll probably be one of the better jobs open. I mean, sorry, Brett Venables. I think he's a solid coach, but it's not. It's clear. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. UCF, Iowa State. Iowa State still technically the number one team in the Big 12 right now. They survived with a 2-minute drill and a quarterback sneak to get past UCF at home, though. So they're still very much on fraud alert watch because Big 12 team, you basically have to be.
And if you're winning games with QB sneaks, you're probably not winning games very soundly a lot.
Right. Yeah, and honestly, it was impressive they were able to pull that one out. The Week 9 watch list. We'll do this kind of quickly because there's quite a bit here, and that means next week we'll have quite a bit to get to. We're going to start with Texas trying to get right against Vanderbilt. I think this is a great get-right game. Some might call it a trap game. Some people might be worried. I think you want a competent opponent, and you want them to be one that's manageable. Even if it's in Vanderbilt, and maybe they're a little more ruckus after beating Alabama this year. But ultimately, this is a game where if you're truly a great team, you bounce back and you win. Even if you win ugly, you win.
All I want to see is just Quinn's first couple series of just looking like he looks like a quarterback again.
There has to be an emphasis on Quinn Ewers getting comfortable and fast. I absolutely agree. There. Not too much to say about it. I do think Vanderbilt's a good team. They are ranked 25 right now. So shout out to the Commodores. They're not going to be an easy opponent.
Wild.
They're not going to be easy. They're good. They're a solid team.
Army, Navy, and Vanderbilt all ranked right now.
Rise of the nerds, baby.
They're actually in consecutive order, I believe.
Yeah. I mean,
as for, or no, go ahead. What's up?
And I was gonna say, and this is just for chaos, and I know this would never happen, but if just everybody could agree for the sake of chaos and entertainment that anytime an unranked beats like a top 5 team in the country, like when Vandy did it, they should swap spots in the rankings.
That'd be a bold one. That'd be a bold one.
So Vandy could be the number 1 team in the nation, or 4, whatever Alabama was at the time.
I don't know if you're getting a lot of people on your side on that one, but it is a take. It is a take.
Hey, I'll die on this hill.
The Mighty Mean Green need to play some mighty fucking defense.
Please.
They will be hosting Tulane at 11 a.m. on ESPN2.
We're first back, one baby.
In a decade.
That's right.
Pray that we can put up 50 points and only allow 40. That's basically it. That's the Mean Green initiative every week now.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to hope for 45.
Touchdown machine, go Burr.
40 is asking for a lot. 45 is probably more reasonable.
Now, if you can't wait till Saturday, tomorrow night, or tonight, depending on when you're listening, Thursday, Syracuse, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 19. They're undefeated. Syracuse has 1 loss. This is a very interesting measuring stick game for both of these squads. Similar for Friday night, where we get Boise State, UNLV. Both teams have 1 loss. Obviously, most people are aware of Boise State because of their star running back, potential Heisman favorite. But they're a 1-loss team. UNLV's a 1-loss team. What gives? This could be an interesting couple of teams to decide maybe who's the lowest seed jumping into the 12-team playoff. Speaking of Navy, they're hosting the Golden Domers of Notre Dame in a 12 versus 24 matchup. You heard me right. Notre Dame versus Navy is a ranked matchup. Perennial frauds versus the super soldiers. What's going to happen? We are going to find out. Nebraska, they're going to go travel to Ohio State. This might be the last time we talk about Nebraska on the watch list this season. Because if they get skunked in back-to-back games, then that pretty much tells me all I need to know about Nebraska this season. They may be a good team. They may be a bowl team. But they're not one of the teams we need to care about for the playoff.
That's fair.
And that's just the way it's going to have to get to. Illinois is playing Oregon. This might be the biggest game of the week, depending on how you look at it. Not for me, but could be. Illinois is 20. Oregon's number 1. What do the Ducks do with the number 1 mantle? Illinois is a very competent program. Oregon hasn't necessarily passed all of its tests with flying colors, but they've still won. So this is another great opportunity for the Ducks to establish that they are truly the number 1 program in football right now. Missouri, Bama. This is a fraud off. Classic fraud off. Number 15, Bama. Number 21, Missouri. Who is actually
Bama at 15?
They still have Bama at 15. Don't worry about it. It's a fraud off. No disrespect. I think Bama still has the upside because of the talent level of Bama, but clearly this is going to be a transition. We will get to play this one out. Missouri, this is a great chance for them to brush off the initial fraud allegations. Maybe people start to think more of the Aggies moving forward, and now they're less of frauds. Who knows? We will see. At night, the night slate. This is where I'm going to be probably the most excited to watch. LSU, Texas A&M, in Kyle Field. They are traveling to the Colt. Never a dull moment with this rivalry. This one has really sparked off and been one of the more interesting ones since the SEC changed up so much, or since A&M ran scared in the 2010s.
This is the rivalry that got the overtime rules changed.
Got the overtime rules, the 70-70 score. One of my favorite things that's ever happened in all of football history. Even though an A&M team isn't participating, I can't believe that is a fact, but it's true. It's a real measuring stick for 2 SEC underdogs. LSU took an early loss and it was bad. Aggies took an early loss and it looked bad. But hey, if we're being honest, Georgia had a great win against Texas, but offensively there was a lot of questions. Texas clearly needs to answer questions. Around the SEC, we've talked about the other 2 teams in the last one. LSU and Texas A&M kind of have that Rodney Dangerfield look on their face, and this is kind of decides who's the real Rodney Dangerfield.
I mean, I would say whoever wins this has the most clear path to the SEC championship game of anybody.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a fact, and like I said, I think it basically wakes up the national world to say, hey, I know Texas is talented and it's exciting and new. I know Georgia is supposed to be the one that takes over Bama. I know we all still, it's Bama. Tennessee's looking amazing. Can't rule out Tennessee even if they're a little fluky, but I do think LSU and Texas A&M have a little bit more ground to stand on.
And just build on the schedules also, like what they have remaining is,
Schedules work out, but like I said, I think just even construction of football team, I think it works.
Last game of the year is going to be a real tough one for A&M.
Well, it could be the deciding factor, and I think that's a fun way to restart that rivalry too.
My biggest fear is somehow winning that game and having to play them the next week.
Yeah, that would be annoying. That would be annoying, but I mean, this is
obviously
part of the new life.
Winning both would be awesome, but my God, can you imagine the terrible feeling of winning and then losing the conference game that way?
Where is the conference game? Is it in Atlanta?
It's always in Georgia, I think. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. SMU is going to host is going to go to Duke. This is both one-loss teams. Both interesting programs in the ACC, not just to play spoiler, but to maybe even potentially sneak into that playoff. And then Penn State will go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin got beat pretty handedly by Alabama earlier in the season, but has since looked pretty good despite losing the starting quarterback for the season. Penn State, they're trying to establish themselves as a real national threat as the number 3 team. This is another good opportunity for them to go into somebody's house. That's usually one of the tougher places in college football. Thump said opponent, move forward with your life. We will be watching. And what we will be doing now is transitioning into the pro football game.
Ooh, we'll do that in just a little minute.